Good evening and welcome to Point of View on Ubuntu channel, which is broadcasting live on our Facebook page, which is Ubuntu channel, and also on our YouTube channel, which is Ubuntu channel. In case you are new, you can get to subscribe to our Ubuntu channel on YouTube and also get to like and follow our page, which is on Facebook, Ubuntu channel. I am your host, Lance Sanibanda. Now, on the program today, we have quite a number of issues that we are discussing and analyzing. We are looking at hot stories that made headlines during the week and also reviewing the week in your perspective. This show is tailor-made to have you, our viewer out there, comment, share a view, and also analyze critically the events that took place in the week. My co-host this evening is Chaza, and together we take you through this thrilling 55 minutes of reviewing the week. Chaza, good evening.
Good evening, Lance. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. And I remember somebody this evening before we came live was actually saying condolences to you, you know.
Come on, we are not talking football. Let's leave it for Friday.
Tough luck there, you know.
Well, it's pretty bad. Manchester United, we lost, but hey, we get to move on. I think we are now used. We just play for fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Chaza, this evening we are discussing quite a number of issues, stories that are mouth-watering, stories that took place during the week, hot stories, top-notch stories. How are you excited about it?
I am very excited because there are quite a number of things that have been happening in this week. And just like the title of the show, My Viewpoint, is actually our reaction, your reaction, and whatever you think about what has been going on, especially all those things that are in public domain.
Well, if you are watching us for the very first time, you are welcome. And of course, remember that the views expressed on this program do not in any way reflect the views of Ubuntu channel. So these are independent views that are brought out by the public that are watching us right about now. Chaza, if you can introduce our guest, our analyst for this evening, so that at least people can also have a glimpse of who he is.
Okay, tonight we are actually hosting Mr. Mwana Nongolo. Is actually, one of the well-vested, men, strong men in terms of, business knowledge, investment, economics, and, just general knowledge. So it is definitely our excitement to host you, Mr. Mwana, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Our pleasure. All right, so Lance, let's kick on. We kickstart with the first story that we have, and we roll on with it.
All right, so like we said, we are reviewing the week, top stories that happened during the week. On Monday, Honorable Sylvia Masebo, who is the Minister of Health, took a promptu visit to Matero Level 1 Hospital, where she found a nurse in her office on a phone when there were lots of patients that were waiting on a long queue outside to be attended to. Now, this impromptu visit was triggered by Maus Sampa, who is the area member of parliament who visited the health center and spoke about a lot of things that he found right there at the hospital. But for more details, let's get to look at the following clip, and then we have our studio analyst to get to critically analyze what was happening there and of course everything that follows.
This business of being on phones, I'll get you fired, all of you. People are complaining, all you do is sit on phones. You must work. Patients are outside there, you're on the phone. 24/7, you're just on the phone. Nonsense.
All right, so that is the impromptu visit that the health minister took at Matero Level 1 Hospital. Mr. Mwana, if we can have a quick reaction coming through from you. The minister did that impromptu visit and issued those remarks. How do you view at this whole thing?
Well, I think that the role of government is quite vast, and then usually government is represented by agents on the field. In this case, we're talking about the nurse, who is government agent in the provision of healthcare. So now, at the end of the day, the government would want to see that the agents are actually working in the correct way. So it's unfortunate, of course. Perhaps we don't have the facts. We don't know what really happened. We always have our phones. We check our phones. Perhaps at the time that the minister visited the hospital, this particular nurse was looking at her phone. But all in all, what should be the message out of this is that we must take our work seriously. We must put our work first. When we are working, we must always deliver, because government does a lot of work for the country. So healthcare is one of those things. It's a critical component of development. So service delivery in that sector is critical. So perhaps what we can learn from that is that we must take our work very, very seriously.
Okay. And maybe analyzing it more, looking at the clip, was it in order for the minister to just barge into the office of this nurse and issue such remarks without knowing if those people which she said were standing on a very long queue outside were waiting for a physician, for a doctor of a certain expertise, and maybe they were waiting for another expertise in a different field, but she had to lash those remarks to this nurse who was found seated. Was it right for the minister? Wasn't it going to be better if maybe she had engaged this nurse and found out why she was seated in the office when there were a lot of people waiting to be attended to?
Right. Like I said before, we don't have the complete facts on the ground, really, for us to make an informed decision concerning what really transpired. But let me divert a little. You see, our civil service, the way things are done in the country, it could be in the Ministry of Health or elsewhere. We have a template which we inherited from the British system of running things. All right. Now, the issue is that in the British system, in the healthcare sector, it is highly successful. You come here, you look at the way service delivery is done. It's a sorry sight. So now, coming to this particular clip, it only reinforces what research has found out concerning the level of service delivery in the country, uh, especially in the health sector. But now the issue is that we don't really have the actual facts, what could have transpired at that particular point, whether this nurse is perpetually on her phone or it was just that particular moment. And also, I don't know whether the conditions of service under which the nurses operate prohibit them from accessing their phones when they're on duty. So we have all these issues that we may not be aware of, things that we may not know, but for us to know whether the minister was in order or not, we need to have an understanding of those matters.
All right. I don't know if my friend Chaza has got any other question apart from that, or maybe we get to invite also the public to come through and share their views on what happened at that particular day.
I think mine is not a question, but probably just to add on to what Mr. Mwananongola has actually, said. Looking at the whole scenario, the question is, was the minister in order to actually, issue that statement as regards, being fired and the like? And on the other side, it's a lesson that all of us, draw from there as regards the use of phone, because generally, when you look at the use of phone, especially the addiction that almost everyone has to the phone, social media and the like, when you put away your phone for some minutes, you feel like you've put it away for an hour or so. So it's a matter of discipline, because if you are on duty and you perpetually get to use your phone, that is very wrong. But not knowing exactly, like Mr. Mwananongola has actually stipulated, for how long, or was that only at that moment that the nurse had the phone, or was she perpetually on the phone? We really don't know. But if she was perpetually on the phone and patients were waiting, that is very wrong. We really need to inculcate into ourselves, self-discipline. When do we need to be on phone, and when not should we be on phone?
All right. When do we need to be on the phone, and when not do we need to be on the phone? So we are inviting you, the general public, you, our lovely viewer out there who is watching this program, to also come through via our comments box, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Share with us, express your view of the story that happened in the health sector. They looking at the health minister barging into the office of this nurse and telling her to say, these phones will get you fired because you are busy on your phones. People are complaining. All right, so let's get to see if we can have Alvin. Alvin, hi, good evening. Kindly unmute your mic, Alvin, and express your view or comment on the story. Alvin, are you there?
The mic is still on mute for Alvin.
All right, so you can also come through, be part of the program, as we are inviting you, the general public out there, to come through and share your view, express your comment, share with us what you think, all the facts that you have about what transpired on that fateful day. In case you have just tuned in and you have missed it, of course, we are talking about the impromptu visit of Health Minister Sylvia Masebo. So Beauty says the minister was in order. No matter how you look at this ministry belongs to her. The nurse is there to save people, not being on the phone. So Beauty, thank you so much for coming through, and I really appreciate that you found time to express your view. So right there in our commentary box, or in our comment box, we have included a link which we would love you to be part of the program. Make sure that you come through and share your view. Carol says, I think they should not be allowed their personal phones on duty. All right, this is very interesting. Mr. Mwananongolo, maybe let's also talk about this. Do you think it would be right to not allow our nurses carry their personal phones when on duty? Do you think this would be workable?
Well, I'm not an expert in health matters, but I think that to every profession, there are rules that guide the way people conduct their daily business. So for nurses, obviously they have different duties on different days. Obviously, if you're going to be in the theater, you may not be expected to be carrying around your phone and chatting on Facebook and so on. So I think that what we need to do is to look at it in a much more nuanced way, because if we're going to generalize, then we're going to be making a mistake. So at the end of the day, I think that whether these nurses are allowed phones or not while conducting their duties, we should also at the same time justify it. What makes their job different from, say, people who work in the bank, or people who work for ZESCO and so on, so that we can justify why these particular people may not be required to have their phones when they are working. Because if we're going to ignore that, then we are running a risk of discriminating against them, and also sort of communication is important. There are family emergencies that people may need to reach you at particular times. So, but then the issue is that I think that if we're going to discuss the issue of nurses carrying phones while on duty and so on, then we must isolate those factors that make their work which make their work prevent them from having phones while on duty.
All right. So remember that this program is tailor-made for you. All right. We have brought this program so that you can express a view. You can critically analyze stories or events that happened during the week. You, our lovely viewer out there. So we implore you and also ask you that be part of the program by coming through via our comments box, come through also via the link that has been provided for you in the comments box, so that you can also share your view on the different stories, different happenings that we are discussing, which happened throughout the week. So we are talking from Monday up to today, Saturday. We are giving you that platform to share your ideas, share your views, express your concern. If you want and analyze the story, let's look at what was reported and what was left out of the report, which the reporters or the journalists have brought out to us. This is what this program is all about, and this program is called Point of View. So point of view simply means we want you to bring out your point. We want you to bring out your view. We want you to comment. We want you to say what you haven't been given a chance to, because there is no platform that has been made for you to do so. So as the Ubuntu channel, we thought it wise that we engage you, the public out there, to come through and just share your concern. So Chaza, we move on to the next story.
Yes, the next story is the abduction of Pamela. You have actually heard about this young lady who was abducted. And before we delve into the discussion or expressing our viewpoint on the same, I would like the producer to take us to the clip. On the other side, we get to analyze the story.
We need help!
The cries of Filtres Mwiluti, whose sister Faith was abducted together with her 3-year-old daughter on March 17, 2022, after knocking off from a mobile money booth in Kamwara shopping area. Her daughter was discovered 2 days later with deep cuts in the head around Chris Corner area and was in the custody of Woodlands Police Station until her relatives claimed her. Filtres has narrated that her sister's 3-year-old daughter was interviewed by Kanyama police officers and was able to recount that her mother was being tortured by her captors, and that she was able to identify one of their captors who used to trade next to her mother. Filtres was able to show us the photo of her abducted sister, who looked swollen and had her hands tied, allegedly sent by abductors 2 weeks ago, who were demanding for a ransom of 5,000 kwacha for her release. She says they have since lost contact with abductors. She also indicated that a family in Mumbwa district also got in touch with them, claiming they were in a similar situation. Police spokesperson Ray Amonga could not give details on the matter by broadcast time. A similar story of Pamela has been reported, and police have since issued a statement.
Investigations instituted so far are indicating that on April 15, 2022, the boyfriend received a call from the victim's phone demanding for a ransom of 15,000 kwacha for her release. We would like to inform the public that this type of crime is alien to this country. The Zambia Police takes protection of women against any form of crime seriously. As such, we have put all our resources together and working with other collaborating partners to possibly secure a safe release from the alleged abductors.
Sharon, the sister of the abducted woman, alleged that during interviews with police at Central Police, they were informed that another victim was recently rescued in Chibolia compound. Tito Kalama for S24.
All right, that is the story about abduction. And it appears, this act is, becoming habitual, because we thought the Pamela one was the first one. And right now, it appears other stories are coming up, or other cases of the similar nature are coming up. Mr. Mwana, what is your viewpoint on abduction?
Well,
In Zambia?
thank you, Chaza. Thank you. Well, this is really, really sad. I mean, what has happened is really, really sad. Not only for the persons who have been abducted, their families. It also sends a really bad image of the country as well. This is alien to us. I can't remember a time when we had something like this, where someone was abducted and then people were asking for ransom and so on. So it really points to the evolution of crime in the country, that it seems crime evolves over time. Like criminals take time to think about the next steps. So I think it also sends a message to our police to evolve in the way they handle crime, because the criminals are evolving. So the police must also find a way to evolve. It is sad. It is really, really sad. I can't imagine what the captors would have gone through so far concerning the abduction that they have gone through. It must be a traumatizing experience, and all well-meaning people must condemn this act, and there has to be a way to find solutions to such things and deliver these people to their families safely, if that is possible.
I have seen quite a number of analyses concerning the abduction of Pamela. And some perspectives have indicated that, the story is not adding up. When she was being beaten, it never appeared to be real. Do we really need to get into analysis of what it is, or do we need to look for the perpetrators and protect the victims of, such circumstances?
Well,
Mr.
Chaza,
Mhm.
the issue is we are not body language experts. I think you are not. I'm not. So,
Of course.
yeah, of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion concerning a particular event. But at the end of the day, the truth still remains the truth. What happened may not be revealed to all of us, but there's the truth out there. So, what needs to be done for now is to establish the truth. What really happened? So, whether the video was staged or it was real, concerning that aspect, it really depends on how law enforcement does their job and uncovers the truth, because the truth is always there waiting to be discovered. So it really doesn't matter whether it was a staged video or whether it was a true video. In either case, someone committed an offense. That is what
Mhm.
matters. So the law enforcement agents must find a way to discover the truth and inform the nation. So you and I can have varying opinions. We can watch the video, look at how she responds, and so on and so forth. But again, we don't really have the facts. We are not professionals. There are very few professionals in this country who can read body language. We don't respond to pain the same. All of us, some people have a higher tolerance than others, and so on. So, for you to start thinking, well, if it were me, I would have fainted. If it were me, I would have screamed. Not everyone can react in similar manner. So, that's why I think it is important for law enforcement to establish the truth. So if it was fake, then, well, the people who faked it should have committed some sort of offense, isn't it? And if it was
Mhm.
real, then the people who committed the offense again should be held to book. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwana. For now, would invite if there are reactions from the public, you can come on live. You can send us that message. You can inbox us, or you can come live right here. You are watching Ubuntu channel, and tonight we are live on My Viewpoint, and we have a message coming from Caro, and she's saying so sad about the abduction issue. Lance, you may be on standby to actually introduce the next story that we have. Caro is again saying the police should do something soon and very soon. Thank you so much for coming through, Caro. We greatly appreciate. Okay. Do we
all right.
have any more? Do we have any more messages? Bring them on. If we do, please bring them on. Okay,
All right,
this
so
is
Zaza, we have a caller. We have Laura right there, and obviously she wants to express her view and
oh,
her
please,
point.
please bring her on.
All right,
Laura,
Laura,
good
hi.
evening.
Good evening.
Her mic is muted.
All right, so maybe we can also bring in Himba. Himba is ready to come in. If we can also have her, okay. If we can also have Himba, so that she also stresses her point or on what we are talking about. So this is all right. So hi Himba, good evening.
Hi, Lance. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to see you, although you're mourning.
Why is everybody saying I'm mourning? It's just a game. It's a big team, for crying out loud. Okay, so you have 90 seconds to make your contribution.
Thank you so much, Lance. I've got two contributions. The first one goes on the health worker who was found on the phone by the Ministry of Health. I think personally, I think the minister was in order to talk to her. And, I think in each and every organization there are rules, and the phone there's a way it should be managed, especially in a place of work. I would suggest that as a worker at a place of work, use the phone when you're on break. Definitely, we need communication from the family, but you can't be on the phone when the clients are waiting. I think there's the right time to use the phone There are institutions where I know personally where I work, you're not even allowed to be on the phone anytime unless you go on break. So I think using a phone uncontrollable in a place of work, for me, it's indiscipline. The second one, it's on the Pamela case. The Pamela case, I'm looking at it from a different angle. These perpetrator of these crimes, where are they coming from? Because from what I've heard from the video where the police was informing the nation that this case is new in our country. So what is causing this case? I feel that I also want to appeal to our leaders, especially the political leaders, that this generation of young people, we need to be empowered. We need to have sustainable income generation activities so that we avoid certain crimes. Because as much as we may say, these young people in the political parties, let's remove them out of the street, let's stop whatever, but they still have families to feed. They still have needs which needs to be met. But if they don't have any source of income, they are going to indulge in such activities and be a risk to the community. Thank you so much.
All right,
Okay,
thank you,
so
Himba,
much.
for coming through. You can go ahead, Chaza.
Okay. Thank you so much, Himba. We greatly appreciate. And we had Laura also on the line on standby. Have we lost her, or can she be brought in?
I think now on the standby we have Alvin. If Alvin can come through and also share her view. So Laura is gone. We can have Alvin. Hi, Alvin. Good evening.
Hi team, good evening, and how are you?
We are doing well,
Good.
thank you. How are you today?
Thank you.
I'm doing great.
Okay.
I'm
All right, so
doing
you
great.
have-
Just thought,
You have
Yeah.
90 seconds to make your contribution.
so thank you. My thoughts
Go
on
ahead.
the let me begin. Let me begin with the Pamela issue. I really had a bit of time to scrutinize the video, and I pity those who are actually saying that that video was fake, the body language was not appropriate, and all that. I don't know what exactly they meant, and I don't know what exactly they were trying to insinuate, because, I mean, who does such gruesome acts to a lady, and then you call that fake? There's an iron bar being hit on her forehead, and you can see blood oozing uncontrollably, and then you call that fake. I mean, what kind of faking could that be? That was seriously gruesome. Seriously gruesome. I think what I would want to say and appeal is to all those owners of mobile booths and all that, to seriously protect and train their people so that there is some kind of protection, because you are dealing with people who are handling a lot of cash, and anybody who knows or who has a glimpse of how much cash these booths can have at a time can attack them, you know. And let me just give you a simple background. There's even a time when it was quite rampant for these booth attendants to be swindled of money. Someone will just come and say, I want to withdraw such and such an amount, or I want to deposit such an amount, and then they'll be swindled, and the guy will get away with a huge amount of money. So I don't think at all, and I have no doubt that was fake or whatever. It wasn't fake. It was very real. So all we have to do is maybe ask the booth owners to find a way of protecting their booth attendants. And coming
right,
to the
as you are winding up.
Coming to the issue of the minister was very much in order, very much in order. There's no way. I mean, and it's quite frustrating to find, even in any other office, someone who should be able to serve you, they are busy on their phone. I mean, you should have some private time, or attend to your phone when there's no client. And like attending to your phone, neglecting the client whom you're supposed to serve. I think those are my comments. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Alvin, for coming through. And of course, maybe getting back to Mr. Mwana Nongolo, our analyst. I think in the video, in the clip that we played, since there are two victims, Pamela and the first one, who was firstly abducted, and information that came out from there was that the child, the 3-year-old child, actually recognized her mother's abductors, and she said it's somebody who was her neighbor, or the mobile money, where she was operating from her mobile money booth. Then the neighbor is one that abducted her, and police have not updated us if in the first case they made any progress in calling this person, or in finding, in investigating this person who has been alleged as the abductor of the first one. How do you look at that?
Well, thank you, Lance. Thank you. Yeah, again, I have to say it is sad, very, very sad. For the child to have recognized the abductors, that should be some sort of lead for the police to follow. And then as regards whether they give the public an update or not, I think that the police also have got procedures concerning such matters. At what point they need to update the nation concerning an ongoing case. Usually what I've read in the media and so on is that when they have an ongoing case, it wouldn't be wise to sort of preempt until they have substantial evidence to that effect. So, but anyway, I don't know, but that is a lead which the police should take seriously, where there is this alleged abductor, where the 3-year-old recognized and pointed a finger at. That should be something that should be taken seriously and followed up, so that if this person is innocent, the police should be able to establish that and close the case. It can also mean that in that particular sense, these are people that are well known to the victims. They know them, they live together with them, and so on. So these are people they are close to. They may even talk to each other with them, and so on. So at the end of the day, it really is important that the police does their work professionally, efficiently, and brings these people to justice. No one should really get away with such acts of crime and abduction and so on. It's disruptive. So the police must do their work, and I hope that they are, so that these criminals are brought to book. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Mongolo. Yeah, thank you, Lance. At this point in time, I think we can move as we are waiting for some messages there and the like, and members of the public as they are coming in. We can move to the next story, and we get to analyze it also. So Lance, I would like you to just introduce the story, just give us a synopsis of it. Then we have the clip, and on the other side, we get to analyze. In the meantime, we are having a message coming from Freehead, and this one says, since when the mobile came, its life, human being can't live without a mobile. A human being has found the best love of their lives. So the Honorable did the right thing to remind. Okay, so Freehead is basically saying that ever since the phone came, it appears to have overtaken the minds of the people. We have a message coming from Laura. Okay, Laura is saying, my take on the abduction issue is that first, it is sad and traumatizing to the family of the victim. The police need to up their game, or else they will be taken to be unable to handle such cases. Thank you so much, Laura. We greatly appreciate for that message. Another one is coming from GK Dua, watching from Kalumbila. The police may not give full details of what is prevailing on Pamela's case because the matter is very sensitive. Thank you so much, GK Dua, for coming through. We greatly appreciate. All right, so for now, Lance, you can just give us a synopsis of the next item in issue. Then after that, we have the clip and we get straight into analysis of the same.
Definitely. All right. So on the next item, despite Lusaka's Chipata Compound Clinic, being upgraded to a level 1 hospital, the public health facility is operating without a well-functioning mortuary. Now, a situation which is forcing residents to keep their deceased loved ones in their homes until the date of burial. When they're going for burial, that's when they take their loved ones, deceased loved ones, from their homes to the burial site. So Lusaka's Chipata compound lacks mortuary space, or they lack a mortuary because they are keeping their loved ones in their homes. But for more details, let's get to look at this clip and then we come back on the other side.
In Zambian tradition, dead people are not spoken of and citizens have respect for them. Funeral costs are covered by the family, but the hospital has the responsibility of keeping the deceased in their premises. Last year, former Minister of Health Jonas Chanda observed the need to expand clinics to first-level hospitals due to the increasing population, and he noted with concern the lack of mortuary services at the health facility. 1 year later, residents of Chipata compound do not have a mortuary at Chipata first-level hospital and have the burden of footing transport costs from their homes or to the hospital to UTH mortuary using private transport. Due to costs arising from this that some families cannot afford, they are forced to spend the night with the deceased in the same house.
Muri monse as long as chabe mwakwanisa ni mutaxi ni mukanta mwapereka so chabe mwabwerako. And then kanta muzati nzingati nyamala muntu wakufa kuchosa hapa 600 kupereka ku UTH. Eri manja mulibena ngukoyini. Muzachitabwa. So hapo paja pani malionero na chika anamwalira basiya mu nyumba anaboshika the following day chose che mu nyumba gula kofi inapereka muntu muchari yokosa bali bendra mazuwa perekera ku UTH bantu so stima kwanisa isebenangu pezi kati muntu amwalira olo amwalira kuseni mazuro mwasitabwanji mwashika chifukwa chakuti ndrama bantu balibe zingala nzochepekera ndrama baliko bane manafu bapamina wanamwalira stina vanamwali pachipata kliniki but tinapereka ku UTH yenze challenge kule kuti tisakire ndrama and then tibooking kanta and then tipereke ku UTH yenze challenge kule futhi kaindrama ikanta yatwe sikanta ya boma kanta yatu ise bantu tingakondera kuti atirete komo chali pafupi ndaba muntu akamwalira hapa sitikwanisa kwenda ku UTH ku booking ndrama zima pako pesa 500 400 timankhala tiripi
transport matarimpa so marozinga maningi so kuti orono usiku imabeskati ya dura maningi transport just because ngutari neveninga kambe ko soba oneko chimochari pafupi hapa
tima booking achabe mamotoka kupita ku UTH kulibe utati ambulance ibwere kulibe timazinga che ndrama zatu tikawapemba vachipata kuti itani koni ambulance vamakana so tilibe na mphamvu kai tiyo pa boma.
When reached for a comment, Lusaka Provincial Health Director Dr. Constantine Mwale was not available as he was waiting feedback from the Director of Engineering regarding the challenge at the hospital. Residents of the area are hopeful that they too can have a mortuary close by due to large population of the area. Last year, the clinic was upgraded into a first-level hospital as part of government's commitment to close the gap by 2030 to improve service delivery to Zambians. Malikana Mulele, S24.
We are right back. Thank you so much for being with us. Okay, that is the story that we have. and it is very sad indeed. A clinic, upgraded to a level 1 hospital, and it does not have a mortuary. It is very sad indeed. Mr. Mwananongolo, what is your viewpoint on this issue?
Thank you, Chaza. Well, it's sad. This is a health facility that is supposed to, deliver health care at community level. Now, part of the provision of healthcare is mortuary facilities. I mean, there's life. During the life of an individual, they have to consume healthcare. When you get sick, you go to the hospital, you are seen by the doctors, you are given drugs when you are sick. But then ultimately, we all die. And then the work of healthcare personnel and Ministry of Health doesn't end there. When you die, you have to be taken care of. I mean, it's something that is part of our culture. It's what makes us human. There has to be some dignity even when someone has died. So now it is sad that we are hearing stories such as these ones at a time like this, after so many years from independence. We should have overcome some of these issues by now. But then again, we also have to understand the way government policy works, especially concerning healthcare. We've had a change of government recently, so a lot of things may seem out of place because there's still things that need to be put in place. The new government has its own vision concerning healthcare. We have seen recently that they have decided to increase employment of health workers and so on. I hope that is also matched with an increase in health care facilities, which should include mortuary facilities as people die and so on. So at this moment, yeah, it is sad that we are hearing stories such as these. Relatives must have access to mortuary facilities. Mourning is a very stressful thing, and if you can't have mortuary facility, that even adds more to the grief that individuals and families go through during such moments. So this really is an urgent matter that must be addressed by Ministry of Health and government policymakers to make the lives of people better by the provision of mortuary facilities, healthcare, and so on throughout the life of an individual up to the time that they die. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel there's actually less debate as regards, this story. Is everything sad about it? We shall not so much, stay here. We shall proceed to the next story. But, the people out there, those that, listening or watching, you are free to actually express your viewpoint on the same story as regards lack of a mortuary at Chipata Level 1 Hospital. So for now, Lance, I would like you to take us to the next story as we proceed in that manner.
All right, thank you so much, Chaza. So moving on to our other story of discussion. Of course, after winning the 2021 general elections, the UPND sent a very strong message to its supporters through President Hakainde Hichilema that cadres or the party youths should not form any form of office or cooperative, even branches in the trading areas such as bus stations, markets, and so on and so forth. So yesterday on Friday, after a partial riot ensued at Dedan Kimathi Road, or along Dedan Kimathi Road, which is the area that is housing intercity bus terminus. We saw local government minister Honorable Gary Nkombo who is also Mazabuka Central Member of Parliament representing the UPND, visiting Intercity and also Buseko Markets, where he closed down all purported UPND offices which he found there. Now, to get more of this story, let's get to look at this clip, and then we have our analyst giving his point of view, and also still inviting you, the public out there, to share with us your view. But let's get to look at this clip.
What are you doing? Hello? What are you doing? I'm getting the back. Well, what is this office? Riacha an office? Yeah, Bachaman. Bachaman, Bacha? Emma, what do you do? Oh, no, what do you do in this office? What's your job here? You are idling. You know that idling is an offense. Who gave you this office? What job do you do in here? That's what I want to know. President son analysis. Analysis. President son analysis. So now what is this? President analysis. Life at analysis. So you're running a government here? No, I'm not. You are. You're running a government here because you are UPND. Lock this thing. No. No. Get your badge.
All right, so welcome back, and thank you so much for still staying with us on the show. This is My Viewpoint. Now, on this program, we let you, the public and the viewers, to come through and share with us your views, your sentiments, and also get to react or comment on the different events, different stories that have taken place throughout the week. Mr. Mwananongolo, right there, local government minister, in action at Intercity Bus Terminus, closing down UPND offices, and UPND officials there failing to explain why they have an office there. Your quick reaction.
Thank you, Lance. You see, first of all, a country has laws that govern how individuals conduct themselves, how organizations, associations conduct their business, their day-to-day businesses. Well, what happened at Intercity there is not something that is new. I mean, this is, I'll give you slightly some history. Well, you see, in the previous regime, we had an institution, so to speak, which was created where cadres felt they were some sort of, group of people who had power, and they were empowered in a way so that the structures at Intercity had substantially changed over time, so that there was a routine to the way things were done. Now, the challenge to that has been that these things, they must be backed by some law somewhere. For you to create a department or an office to collect fees and so on, there has to be some law which governs that particular activity. But now the issue is that most of these things have largely been informal in a way. So the New Dawn government, even before they formed government, the promise they made to the Zambian people was that they were going to get rid of this cadre mentality where people felt, and I think from the people that I have met so far, when that promise was made, it was really welcome. And I think it is one of the reasons why the UPND was voted into power, because people felt they would get rid of the menace of Kadarism. So at the end of the day, again, because that institution was created over time, I mean, when society has organized itself in a particular way, it's very hard for you to dismantle that level of organization in a few days, overnight, and so on. There has to be a deliberate process to undo what has been done. The minister could have been right from the point of law. Perhaps there is no statute in the law which allows for such offices to function at Intercity. So that's my view on this particular issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Mwananongolo. We also have messages that have come in, and I took down some of those that were popping up. So the first one that I have came from Lawrence Mulungu, and Lawrence is actually saying cadres must go. The sooner, the better. Cadres must go. The sooner, the better. We also had one coming from Himba. And just to sum up what Himba was saying, she was saying the issue of cadreism may never end as long as those cadres are still roaming on the street with nothing to do. So the government must find something for these people to do, and this issue of cadreism and their acts will definitely come to an end if the government so does something for them. And another message came from Beauty Digan, and Beauty Digan is actually saying, well done, Mr. Nkombo. And previously, before we went for a break for another clip, we had a message coming from Caro, and Caro was actually saying it's good. It's not good indeed to keep dead bodies at home, Ulu say. All right, time is not our best ally. We have to wind down. Lance, our closing just before we do a wrap.
Definitely. So, of course, we really appreciate you, first of all, Mr. Mwananongolo, for accepting, though on short notice, to be part of the program this evening. We appreciate you, and we are really grateful to you. And of course, we are also grateful to you, our lovely viewers out there that made this whole program very interesting. Without you, we are nothing. So therefore, you are the ones that help us to be who we are, and you help build us through your encouragements and also through your contributions on the different programs that we have right here at Ubuntu channel. Now, this program will be coming every Saturday at 21 hours, and we would love you to share it with your neighbor, your sister, your brother, so that they can also tell their friends that every Saturdays at 21 hours, Ubuntu channel is bringing you My Viewpoint, which helps you, a viewer, to come and have a say on the different happenings of the week. And of course, more appreciations also go to you, Chaz. You've been awesome. You've been great. And you always make a great partner in this journey.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Definitely. And everybody else that came through, we appreciate everybody who is watching and did not come through. We appreciate also from me, Chazia, our guest, Mr. Mwananongolo, and the entire production team. We say bye-bye. We'll meet again on Saturday as we bring to you yet another exciting edition of this program. But we are ending with this clip of taxi drivers complaining of the transportation apps that have come through. Good evening and stay blessed.
Being a cab driver at a taxi rank has become more challenging now with the emergence of on-app cab businesses. Some taxi drivers spoken to by S24 Business have explained that they are receiving less customers on ranks.
Mangara business yatu yama lifti yose anima private, so ngani mamini ni yaso macharges yanga na kuziwana kwanga kwa na bantu tu na protection yako na bantu amene unyamura 3 kaende de katu na meti mapita umasiana na baja makamba na mayangu isema nchito yatu ni win or lose timatandiza na wewe matitandiza baja bayangu sibanga bwere from town bofika kuno kwa Kanyama babwanyamure mundu ambata animutandiza chabe, so it's a business yatu ili fair than ya beve.
Others have opted to operate both on apps and ranks to sustain their businesses. They have, however, noted that the apps are busier than the ranks.
The app, with app at least you can have some customers than being a regular station. For a station you need to wait for a customer to come, but if you're using the app, it will just ring anytime, like wherever you are, it can even go on. Yeah, you can have a customer. Yeah, that's a difference anyway. Yeah.
So what about the pricing differences between being on app and being just regular?
Sometimes, like if I'm just a normal taxi driver, like maybe I'm parked somewhere, I may overcharge. Okay, instead of you paying 100 kwacha, I'll say pay a 200 kwacha or 250 kwacha. But for the application, like for app, the prices are already there.
I'm Geno Papa, comedian. I just want to talk about Yango and Ulendo and some lights. Tuma apps like tuma light to tulifia bwino because today afrisha ko bala bantu kola sometimes maybe uko ku place ta kuri taxi, you call the app, they will come and pick you. So otherwise we are appreciating for that also because they are bare tungirira icharacha zambio kya pantanshi. Thank you very much.
People prefer booking their cabs on apps for various reasons, including cheaper costs and the safety that comes with the vehicle whose movement is constantly being tracked. Reporting for S24 Business, this is Esnat Lungu.